Hey everyone, Mary Ellen Vinnock and Sue Jennings. We're the real estate ladies of North Atlanta. So you're wondering what it really costs to live in Manhattan, New York, compared to North Atlanta. That's what we're going to discuss today. In this video, we're breaking down the real cost of living here, housing, utilities, transportation, groceries, and even hidden fees that most people don't think about. So, like I said, Mary Ellen Vinnock and Sue Jennings, we're with Keller Williams, and we help people every day figure out whether they're moving from a high-cost living area like New York City to a city like North Atlanta truly fits their lifestyle and their budgets. Whether you're moving in 9 days, 9 months, 9 years, our goal is to help you look at the numbers and let you plan ahead. At the end of the day, I'll share a free budget template that you can use to plug in your own expenses. Here are a few questions we're going to answer today, okay? What is the real monthly cost of owning or renting in downtown Manhattan once you factor in taxes, insurance, and fees? What monthly utility bills are in New York City? Spike higher than anywhere else. And when you're commuting to Midtown in the financial district, or the true monthly cost, what are you going to factor in? Gas, insurance, and time. Stick with us because in 60 seconds from now, you'll know that if living in Manhattan makes sense for your budget and how it stacks up against beautiful places like North Atlanta where we live.
Yeah, so in Manhattan, and Mary Ellen's going to be pulling up a sample home in Manhattan. And the median listing price in Manhattan is about $1,440,000 for a home or a co-op. While rent for like a 2-bedroom apartment typically is around $5,470 per month. If you're buying though, you can expect that total monthly cost to be about $7,600 to $13,100 once you factor in taxes, insurance, and co-op fees, making the ownership cost much higher than it is on average between $2,500 and $3,000 a month in a North Atlanta suburb. So what are we looking at here, Mary Ellen?
So we're looking at a property, 33 Greenwich Avenue, apartment 6. Everything is an apartment in New York. This is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and it's $859,000.
Wow.
Wow.
How many square feet is that?
It doesn't say the square footage on it in Zillow, but I'm sure it's not very big.
No, it looks pretty tiny. I would say maybe 650 to 900 square feet just looking at it.
Yes, so that's there. So that's kind of something that you would get for $859,000. So you're going to you're digging into utilities and costs of living in New York City. Correct, Sue?
Right. So for utilities, your monthly utilities, which would be electric, water, gas, and trash, that's between $190 to $250 a month. Internet charges are going to run you at least $60 to $80 a month, probably higher than that. Note, if you're coming from out of state, that your bills do spike in Manhattan between July and August when air conditioning is in heavy use. And again, in the winter months when you need your heat and it's very, very cold there. So comparing this to North Atlanta, you can say your utilities here are going to be about $180 to $220 a month. That's for basic electricity, heating, cooling, water, and garbage. Again, if you do have a lawn, you might have a larger water bill in the summer because you might be watering your lawn. But in general, your expenses are a little bit less in the North Atlanta area. As far as transportation, of course, it depends upon where you're going to be working in either location and whether you're taking public transportation or walking. Gas prices average about right now about $3.57 per gallon. I saw it down here this weekend around $2.91 a gallon.
Yeah, that's a difference.
Yeah, so it's much cheaper in North Atlanta than it is up in Manhattan. Your insurance costs in Manhattan are going to run you $200 to $300 a month. Now, North Atlanta is not known to be cheap as far as insurance. Not really sure why, but I can't quote that, and because it really depends upon what type of coverage you're looking for. But a daily commute in New York, like to a different borough, like Midtown, for instance, from wherever you're living, sometimes you'd be doing that by subway or whatever. But if you're getting a Metro Pass, you're going to spend about $132 a month. In North Atlanta, if you're taking MARTA for your transportation, that compares to $95 a month.
Right.
So yeah, these are important. Groceries and so forth in Manhattan are going to run you between $800 and $1,000 a month, where in Atlanta, for basic groceries, there you can expect to spend between $350 and $450 a month for groceries, and that's for a family of four. Manhattan, their rate is about 20% higher than the national average anyway.
That's good to know, because people don't know, like, percentage wise. So that's good to know. And maybe the salaries are 20% more or 30% more. So that's also into consideration. Right.
But just keep in mind, we've got the same grocery stores that Manhattan has. We've got Whole Foods, we have Trader Joe's, and we do have specialty markets and chain markets alike. Dining out, it really depends upon where you eat. The North Atlanta area and even Atlanta is a foodie town. So there's a lot of options here, just like there is in New York. Your childcare costs are going to run between $2,000 and $3,500 a month in Manhattan, whereas in North Atlanta, it's going to be less than that. Private schools, again, can range between $30,000 and $60,000 a year in Manhattan. Again, in the North Atlanta area, it's expensive to send your child to a private school here, but it is not going to be between $30,000 and $60,000 a year.
It's going to be about
average.
20, around 20,
right?
Between 15 and 20, depending on the school.
Right. We've got some really high-end schools here. You can spend more, but on average, you're not going to. What other hidden costs are there? There are some HOA and co-op maintenance dues in New York. You're going to pay between $1,000 and $3,000 a month in Manhattan, where in the North Atlanta area, you're going to pay anywhere from the mid 200s to about $400 a month. It's a big difference.
That's a big difference.
Right. And your local sales tax in New York City is 8.85%. And Mary Ellen, what is it here? Like 7?
7. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Gym memberships, I think, are going to be a wash in either place. It depends upon what you're looking for. So, Mary Ellen, you've got some homes here in the North Atlanta area. Let's look at those and see,
so this one, exactly. So this one is in Charlotte Drive, and it's at 1.45, and it's 5 bedrooms, 6.5 baths. It's 6,051 square feet. Right.
So in New York, we said the average home was $1,440,000. This home is $1,450,000. And look at how much more square footage you do get here in the North Atlanta area.
And you have property and you have a lifestyle here too.
Right. So
yes, you're definitely going to get, so this is just one home. We're just kind of going through, and while we're going through this, Sue, give some ideas of what are the costs to live in North Atlanta.
Okay, well, if you're looking initially to rent in North Atlanta, let's start there. You can expect to spend between $1,500 and $2,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yes.
Of course, if you're going to be renting 2 bedrooms or a large home like this one, you can expect to spend more. A family of 4 for a larger home might spend $4,700 to maybe up to $6,000 a month for a large home like this, as far as renting it. The median home price in Alpharetta, by the way, is about $817,500. Roswell's actually a little bit less expensive as far as the North Atlanta area. It's around $680,000. Sandy Springs is a little bit less than that. Marietta is a little bit higher. And of course, it all depends upon what part of Marietta you're looking at and what type of home you're looking at. Same thing in Johns Creek. I mean, they say the average is $725, but on the most part, I think most of the homes that we see are higher than that. Okay, anyway, the general takeaways here are that housing is the main driver and the main expense that you'll have in a home in the North Atlanta area. It depends upon what you're looking for. Some of these homes are now starting to exceed the national averages because of the popularity and the job growth and so forth in the North Atlanta area, which has put a little bit more pressure on housing. But transportation might be something where you're going to be a little bit more car dependent here than you would in Manhattan, where you've got a few more public transportation options.
Yes.
You have to take your location into consideration when you purchase a home here as far as how long you want your commute to be. But overall, we've got great value here in the North Atlanta area. It depends upon the specific suburb that you're looking at. But in the broader metropolitan Atlanta area, there's good value for the cost of living here compared with the rest of the U.S. and especially compared to Manhattan.
Yeah, I mean, we're just giving you ideas like what you get in Manhattan for $900,000, and then you just spend a little bit more money and you're getting these like mansions, right? Like compared to, so I think and property taxes are a lot less expensive, and sales tax is a lot less expensive. You might be making less money too in Atlanta than you do in New York, but it's all about lifestyle, where you want to be, where you want to live. So We're just giving you options and kind of giving you a comparison. So sometimes people don't realize what you can get for your money. And we're just kind of showing you this is what you can, what you can get.
Your cost of living overall in Manhattan is going to be about triple of what it is in the North Atlanta area. That's what it comes down to. So if you're living in Manhattan right now and you know what your costs are, divide that by 3. And that's what it would cost you perhaps to live in a larger home with more space and more amenities and more green space around you in the North Atlanta area.
But there's nothing like living in New York. I lived in New York. I'm born and raised in New York. I love New York, yes. But the cost, if you just have to compare apples to apples, like New York apples, right? Apples to apples, and figure out what's best for you. And I think different times in your life, you want different things, right? So really look at that. But getting a transfer to Atlanta might not be a bad thing. You definitely get a lot more space than you do in Manhattan. But there's nothing like New York. I got to tell you, Atlanta's nothing like New York. I don't consider Atlanta a city compared to New York, because it's just, New York, you can get around everywhere. You can get around, from, just on the subway. It's so easy to get around. Here, everybody's in their car. So if you don't like driving, don't come to Atlanta because everything's so spread out, right?
Right. But we do have really nice walkable downtown areas here, like in Alpharetta and Crabapple, Roswell, and Johns Creek is building a town center area. Sugar Hill, there's a lot of areas here that are very, very walkable. Last evening, I was down in Sandy Springs in their town center area, and it's just, there's a lot to do here. It's a great lifestyle. I'm from the Northeast as well, and I love it here. I've been here 15 years. And
and you see definitely see the 4 seasons here too. Right. So hopefully we gave you some information on the cost of living in New York compared to the North Atlanta area. So tune in, Real Estate Ladies of North Atlanta. See you soon. Take care. Bye.